Now on CoastTV News.
Conclave commences. Cardinals start the process of finding the next leader of the Catholic Church.
Constitutional change, the bill in the Delaware General Assembly that impacts the future of the governor's cabinet.
Planning pressure.
It ain't coming back no more.
The concerns over more developments in Sussex County with the latest near Milton.
A pleasant Wednesday for Delmarva with dry and pleasant conditions. Thursday remains dry and mild. A better chance of rain for Friday, then improving conditions for the weekend. Details coming up.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. Good morning. I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour.
First time in a couple days that I walked out on my way to work. I actually saw stars when I looked up. Didn't have those big, thick clouds.
There was no rain, no lightning like yesterday morning, and we had a beautiful afternoon yesterday.
It was
stunning outside. And back today is First Alert meteorologist Bob Trahey. Bob, people were outside yesterday. The weather was gorgeous. I'm thinking they're going to want that again today.
Yes, good morning, guys. Hello, Elisa and Matt. And yes, it was a beautiful day yesterday. And I think we're looking at another nice day for today. It's cool headed out the door. We're at 50 in Salisbury right now, 52 in Delmar, Gumboro, Dagsboro, Georgetown, 56, 60 in Lewis, 58 in Rehoboth. So definitely need that jacket out the door, a lighter jacket. As the winds for the most part are calm, we are seeing some clouds moving through Delmarva right now. And it's possible we could see a stray sprinkle or shower. We are seeing that right now around Annapolis, back through New Jersey as well. There's a weak disturbance sliding through, so some clouds, a few showers this morning. Otherwise, I think we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds as high pressure is building in from the west. So futurecast this morning has the clouds. We'll see some blue skies as well. Temperatures in the 50s, can't rule out a shower. Mid-morning, mid-60s inland, 50s and 60s at the coast. By noon, we're into the lower 70s inland areas. So a good-looking afternoon on the way with 60s and 70s at the beaches. Inland areas around 77 in Millsboro, Delmar 76 in Salisbury, the same with a mix of sun and clouds, almost similar conditions to yesterday, and then remaining mild and dry as we go through the evening hours. Here's your day part forecast. Light winds for a change today, a chilly start, and then a milder afternoon. 70s inland, 60s at the beaches. One more dry day Thursday, and then it's kind of rainy Friday, and then improving for the weekend. I'll have more details coming up in my full forecast a little bit later in the newscast.
Thank you, Bob. And here is a live look inside the Vatican. It's just after 11 a.m. there. History in the making. And now that we've passed the mourning period for Pope Francis. Our top story this half hour, the Cardinals who will choose the next Pope start to meet behind closed doors in the Sistine Chapel. The conclave will include all 133 cardinals under the age of 80. Staff at the Vatican have been working to ready the chapel for deliberations with the name of each cardinal elector laid out on tables. Every cardinal takes an oath to remain out of contact with anyone who is not participating in the conclave. They will vote until one cardinal has a 2/3 majority.
New this morning, the future of Gary Farm development in Ellendale. Tonight, the town council is expected to discuss a master plan on these houses. Plans for that development were first submitted to Delaware officials 3 years ago. They call for 227 new homes and 264 affordable housing units on the northwest side of town. Tonight's meeting is at 7 at the Ellendale Fire Hall.
And happening today, a heavily debated proposed development in the Milton area. It's set to go in front of the Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission. We're talking about Cool Spring. The project includes over 1,200 single-family lots at the intersection of Route 9 and Cool Spring Road. Development is something that we've been covering for some time now, and here's what one person told us about this latest plan.
You expect growth. This area is not going to be like it was in 1978 when I was here. It was, again, we called it LSD, Lower Slower Delaware. You can expect that to go. It ain't coming back no more.
If approved, the project would be one of the largest developments in Sussex County, and today's public hearing takes place at noon.
Also on the agenda at that meeting, a homeless village called Tyros that was placed at the old Troop 7 lot in Lewis. That's where the salt barn is. And Mike Agnew, the organizer of Tyros, says under Governor Meyer's administration, he's now required to have a conditional use land permit, something he didn't say he needed under the Carney administration. John Blaine with the Bridge Clinic has previously checked on the people living in that area. Blaine says he can better serve people at the Tiros Village.
They had wash stations, they had porta potties. I know that people organizations were coming with food and different things. It's a community.
John Blaine and Mike Agnew hope the community can return to the open space it once occupied, and the Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission will hold that public hearing today.
Yeah, and happening now, a new bill dealing with the homeless is making its way in the Delaware General Assembly. Supporters of House Bill 135 claim the state does not have adequate shelters or housing services for the number of people who need help. It encourages communities to provide emergency shelter for the homeless. Another part ensures those who are homeless get the same legal protections as everyone else. Rehoboth Beach Democrat Representative Claire Snyder Hall is a co-sponsor.
This just in Delaware, the General Assembly is considering a constitutional amendment that could affect the future of the governor's cabinet. Senate Bill 15 seeks to change some rules for the governor's cabinet. And if approved, Senate Bill 15 requires each holdover member in a second term to have a new confirmation process. According to information from the General Assembly, this is the second leg of a constitutional amendment, and this bill is co-sponsored by Georgetown Republican Senator Brian Pettyjohn.
Happening today, Maryland Lieutenant Governor Aruna Miller and the Maryland Department of State Police will honor those who have lost their lives in the line of duty at the annual Fallen Heroes ceremony. The surviving members of 43 fallen state troopers will attend the event to honor their loved ones. The ceremony begins at 11 a.m. at the Fallen Heroes Memorial in Pikesville. Now getting a live look at Washington, D.C. It was yesterday in that city that President Trump, well, I thought we were going to get that live shot, but we'll just move on here. We got a meeting we were talking about between President Trump and Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney. That meeting comes after a back and forth between the two over trade policy. As NBC's Alice Barr shows us, other members of the Trump administration are focusing their efforts on China.
As President Trump sat down with Canada's new Prime Minister, trade tensions with friends.
Regardless of anything, we're going to be friends with Canada.
And competitors is in the spotlight with word that American and Chinese officials will begin negotiations in Switzerland on Friday. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to lead the talks.
My sense is that this will be about de-escalation, not about the big trade deal. But we've got to de-escalate before we can move forward.
The 145% tariff on Chinese imports into the U.S. is already forcing some prices up for American consumers. And officials at the Port of Los Angeles warn shortages could be coming soon. Overnight, a Chinese official saying, quote, "If it's a fight, we will fight to the end. If it's a talk, the door is open." President Trump voicing frustration over frequent questions about when he'll sign promised trade deals with an array of foreign leaders.
We don't have to sign deals. They have to sign deals with us.
On Canada, the president asked if Prime Minister Mark Carney could persuade him to lift 25% tariffs on Canadian goods, including steel, aluminum, and cars.
No.
Why not?
Just the way it is.
The two leaders sparring over President Trump's calls to make Canada the 51st state.
I still believe that, but you know, it takes two to tango, right? It would really be a wonderful marriage.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
Never say never. Never say never.
President Trump pushing boundaries in his quest to remake global trade. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Today.
Coming up, crosswalk conflict, the response from an LGBTQ organization to Salisbury's new design for its Pride pavement crosswalk.
Also, candidates face concerns. We'll show you the outcome of the forum ahead of the Delaware School Board elections, where candidates took on tough questions.
And social media platform persists, while TikTok is optimistic about its future in the U.S. All that and more as CoastTV News Today continues.
5:11 on this Wednesday morning. Here's our Spicer Brothers cam. Looking a little hazy in Salisbury right now, 50 degrees. So out the door, make sure you have a jacket. Winds are calm, 52 in Gumboro, 55 in Millsboro and Redden. A little warmer at the beaches, 60 in Lewis, 59 Indian River Inlet. We have a light northwest breeze. A lot of places actually calm right now. We're seeing some clouds moving through. There was a little disturbance kicking off a few showers back to the west, so it's possible we could see a sprinkle this morning. Otherwise, behind this system, high pressure will bring drier weather for today. Here's a drivecast out the door. A few showers possible this morning, otherwise dry. I don't really think you need an umbrella, but I gave it the yellow light anyway, and then a green light for the afternoon and evening commute, dry and mild conditions.
Delaware State Police have a warning about a rise in spoofed calls using the Camden, Wyoming Troop 3 phone number. It's the number we're going to show you on your screen, and troopers say scammers are disguising their number to appear legitimate in the hopes to steal personal information. State police say to ask for ID and verify the caller by contacting the troop directly, and they are reminding people that law enforcement agencies will never ask for payments via phone.
New this morning, the Delaware General Assembly is considering a bill that would speed up traffic changes. According to House Bill 138, DelDOT must install a red light camera within 60 days of a request from the General Assembly. It was introduced when the session opened back up on Tuesday, and that bill is being assigned to the House Transportation Committee.
Part of Camden Street in Salisbury will temporarily close for maintenance work. City officials say the Wycomico County Health Department will conduct roof repairs at its facility. As a result, the alleyway section of Camden Street between the Circle Avenue Garage and the Health Department building will be closed. And this closure begins on May 9th. It's expected to end on May 19th.
TikTok told advertisers it is absolutely confident in its platform and its future. Those comments came Tuesday at a sales presentation to marketers. And you've probably heard of upfronts, where television networks pitch their new shows to advertisers. Well, digital platforms pretty much have to do the same thing. And TikTok advertisers have plenty to be concerned about, with the platform legally required to find a buyer. But the company's confidence may be rooted in more than just public relations posturing. President Donald Trump told NBC to Meet the Press over the weekend that he has a warm spot in his heart for TikTok.
Weight Watchers has filed for bankruptcy. The 62-year-old diet program announced Tuesday it entered Chapter 11. And during the bankruptcy process, Weight Watchers says operations for members will continue as normal. The company expects to emerge in about 40 days as a publicly traded company with its massive $1.5 billion in debt eliminated. Weight Watchers has struggled to keep up with more convenient weight loss options, including GLP-1 drug.
We're seeing mostly cloudy skies right now in Ocean City. A few peaks of blue on the dry tech cam. 60 degrees right now. A few showers possible this morning. Don't think you need the umbrella or a raincoat. Otherwise dry and mild today. That continues into Thursday with rain likely Friday. Improving conditions for the weekend. I'll have your forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 5:17, and you are live at a calm scene there in Ocean City. And Bob, we're going to take calm this morning. Yeah. Dare I say, I'm hoping the answer is yes, that you are tracking a delightful day today?
Delightful? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess in some circles it could be delightful. Not bad. We're going to look at a mix of sun and clouds as we go through the day. Mild conditions. In fact, today and tomorrow very similar, with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, inland 60s at the beaches. And then Friday, we have a round of rain on the way with showers, and it will be cooler at that time. Temperatures out the door this morning are cool, so make sure you have a heavier jacket. 50 in Willards, 52 in Gumboro, 58 Indian River Inlet, 61 in Lewis, 56 in Georgetown, and 55 in Redden and Milton right now. As the winds for the most part are calm, they're coming in out of the northwest. We had a cold front slide through yesterday. We're seeing some clouds behind that front, a little weak disturbance, triggering some sprinkles maybe around Annapolis. Also seeing some light showers into New Jersey right now. This will swing through this morning with clouds. Can't rule out a sprinkle or a light shower. You can see some of those extending back to the west into West Virginia as a cold front is offshore right right now, but I think weak high pressure will give us a nice day today and still hanging on for a decent day tomorrow. We are watching rain across the Gulf Coast and also across the northern plains, and eventually we will see a system that will bring us rain as we go into your Friday. The futurecast this morning, we have some blue skies, but we have some clouds too, with temperatures in the 50s, and once again, can't rule out a stray shower early on, and then mid-morning, we're in the mid-60s inland, 50s and 60s at the coast. By noon, 74 Salisbury and Millsboro, 73 in Georgetown, but a cooler 60 in Dewey Beach and 63 in Fenwick Island, as it'll be a little cooler there today. Mid-afternoon, however, inland, we're in the mid to upper 70s, so it'll be nice there. And still pretty nice this evening, mild inland, cooler at the coast. And as we go through the overnight hours, we see a few more clouds with temperatures, I think, for the most part, into the 50s as we go into tomorrow morning. And then Thursday, another good-looking day, some sunshine, some clouds from time to time, maybe an afternoon sprinkle with 70s, even some lower 80s inland areas, but cooler for the coast. Then increasing clouds as we go into Thursday night. We'll be watching a system heading our way from the west, and that will bring some rain on Friday, and some of that could be a steady rain. It'll be good to see the rain. We've had a few dry days, but I think this system will continue to move to the east, so improving weather as we go into the weekend with sunshine and some clouds Saturday into Sunday, but looking good for Mother's Day if you want to head out to brunch on that day. And the models are differing on rainfall amounts, some about a ½ inch to about an inch, but I've seen others where it's about a ¼ inch. So about a ¼ inch to maybe an inch of rain with that system on Friday. Here's your Paul Davis 7-day forecast, upper 70s today and tomorrow, remaining dry. Then it looks like Friday's the rainy day at 69, 72 Saturday, Mother's Day 76, and then mid 70s into early next week. Another rain chance by Tuesday. And congratulations to William Morehouse from Milton on winning a new umbrella courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling and Coast TV.
Thank you, Bob. We are less than 1 week away from school board elections in Delaware, and last night, candidates in the Cape Henlopen School District answered a variety of questions in a public forum. 2 candidates are running for the at-large seat, Chris Lovinguth and current board member Bill Collick. For the District C seat, 3 candidates are on the ballot: Patty Maw, Laura Parsons, and Andy Lewis. Lewis is not at this forum. One key issue, school funding, especially after 2 failed referendums in Cape Henlopen last year. And here's what the candidates had to say about that.
We want to make sure that we're doing what we can to make sure that our schools are properly funded. We look down the road, we're going to have to look at property somewhere simply because we don't simply, we're going to have to build more. We just are.
So we have to be upfront with the community, let them know what the money's going for, making sure that the money is processed towards the students so the students get a quality education.
We must depend on our local county council to help us by imposing an impact fee for all new builds, so that when we are in the situation that we are in now with not being able to pass a referendum, we can count on the impact fees.
Referendums tend to be only voted on by a small minority of the population. I believe that if these processes were something that occurred more frequently and done in a different way, then the rate of increase would be smaller and better accepted by the community.
Again, the election for school boards statewide in Delaware set for Tuesday, May 13th, and polls open from 7 a.m. and they close at 8 p.m. And to see a full breakdown of the Indian River, Cape Henlopen School District's other school races in our area, you can check out CoastTV.com.
New this morning, Fenwick Island is hiring. The town says it is looking for an accounting financial advisor. Responsibilities include payroll, financial reporting, budget prep, and more. And the town says applicants can email resumes.
Up next on Coast TV News Today, crosswalk conflict, why one local organization opposing the new request for design in Salisbury. Don't go anywhere.
We have an update to a story we brought to you on Tuesday. Salisbury is looking for new art to replace its pride crosswalks. Now one local organization is responding. The art you see here is at the intersection of South Division Street and Market Street. Mayor Randy Taylor says government assets should not be used to, quote, promote any particular movement or cause. But Salisbury PFLAG says the pride crosswalk is inclusive for everyone.
Maintained this crosswalk faithfully for the past over 7 years now, with no taxpayers' dollars, all private donations and all private volunteers to make sure that this crosswalk is a representation of the entire community.
We're going to entertain, projects that, they're artful, kind of reflect our history, our culture, our local, feel.
And the city says it will pay artists $3,000 for the design and the implementation of their art, and that art must be installed by September 14th.
Happening today in Bethany Beach, the 4th annual We the People flag salute. The event takes place at 8:15. And there'll be some statements followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Officials from Bethany Beach, Millville, and Ocean View fire agencies will be in attendance.
Known as the world's largest bill fishing tournament, the 2025 White Marlin Open is heading back to Ocean City. There will be 5 days for fishing from Monday, August 4th to Friday, August 8th. Anglers compete each year to reel in big prizes, reaching millions. Pre-registration for anglers is June 1st. Matt, if you're looking to head to the beach today, maybe for an afternoon walk on the boardwalk, it's a pleasant day to do so, it looks like.
Some treats, some tasty treats there. Bob, I am looking for my Joe Nickel, sunny and 75 today. How are we looking for that?
At the beach?
At the beach.
I don't think we're getting there at the beach. No, I think it's going to fall a little shy of that. Fenwick Island and Ocean City starting out in the upper 50s, upper 60s in Ocean City, but I think we're getting into the low 70s at Fenwick Island, and the UV index is high. Make sure you have the sunscreen. Lewis, we're looking at low 70s for you. 73 there. Looks like a nice ferry ride up to Cape May. Rehoboth, lower 70s with a mix of sun and clouds. Waves only 1 to 2 foot. 1 foot waves on the Sound, on the Bay, I should say, Chesapeake Bay. We're looking at mid 70s for highs in Cambridge, and we're looking at low to mid 70s in Crisfield as well. Dry today and tomorrow. Then we're looking at a better chance of rain on Friday, but then improving for the weekend. I'll have your full forecast coming up in the next half hour.
And after the break on Coast TV News today, a real ID deadline will tell you why officials say don't panic if you haven't gotten yours.
Also, affordable housing assessment, the proposed development in Ellendale, and how it impacts the community.
In process for new pope, we'll tell you some of the possible concerns as over 100 cardinals begin the search for a new leader of the Catholic Church. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
Development debate deepens. The latest pushback against the latest development up for review in Sussex County.
Shelter cites scrutiny, the effort and obstacles in placing a new homeless village in Lewis.
ID deadline, the big change for airline passengers that is going into effect.
A pleasant Wednesday for Delmarva with dry and pleasant conditions. Thursday remains dry and mild. A better chance of rain for Friday, then improving conditions for the weekend. Details coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
7th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, we're approaching 5:31 on this Wednesday morning, heading towards that weekend.
Halfway through the first full week of May.
Yeah. Mother's Day weekend.
Exactly. Yes. It is Mother's Day. It has not registered to me that it's May yet, though.
Well, I had to get my Mother's Day shopping last week because I knew it was going to be busy. I did take care of Mom.
Get those
Take care of your moms out there.
Absolutely. I'm going to go see my mom this weekend, but absolutely. But my mom likes to spend time outside, so...
I thought you were going to say she likes to spend time with you.
Oh, with me outside. Absolutely. I thought that was a given. But now we're going to bring in First Meteorologist Bob Trihey to take a look at our forecast and maybe get a look at our Mother's Day forecast a little bit in the future. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Lisa and Matt. I think Mother's Day right now, fingers crossed, is looking good, and so is the weekend. But before we get to that, we're going to see rain on Friday. No rain today, this morning, but we're looking at temperatures in the 50s, 50 in Salisbury and Willards, 59 in Ocean City. So a little milder at the beaches, 61 in Lewis, 56 in Georgetown, Millsboro at 56 as the winds are calm right now. But the tendency is out of the northwest. Now, we're seeing some clouds out there. Nothing in the way of rain across Delmarva right now. Seeing a few showers around Annapolis, also back through New Jersey. There's a little disturbance swinging through behind the cold front, so can't rule out a sprinkle this morning. Otherwise, I think we're in good shape as we go through today. Futurecast this morning has some clouds. Once again, we could see a sprinkle. Otherwise, warming up nicely with sunshine. A few clouds by noon in the 70s, inland 60s, and I think we'll see some 70s at the beaches as well. Rehoboth around 71 at 3 o'clock, but mid to upper 70s 70s inland and still pretty pleasant as we go into the evening hours. Maybe just a few clouds. And for the kids, they could see a few raindrops this morning, but don't need the rain gear. The stray shower off to school 55, and then heading home dry and mild, sun and clouds and 74.
We are now taking a live look at the Vatican after the funeral for Pope Francis. In 9 days of mourning, the focus inside the Vatican now turns to finding his successor. And today, more than 130 Catholic cardinals will come together behind the locked doors of the Sistine Chapel for the start of a highly secretive conclave, the centuries-old process of electing the next leader of the Catholic Church. If there is any division behind the locked doors of the Sistine Chapel, it will likely center on whether the Church continues with even expand progressive reforms initiated by Pope Francis, or some conservative cardinals have suggested returns to the more rigid rules, traditions, and doctrines that define Catholicism for centuries.
Pope Francis really set Catholicism on a new course. Are we going to maintain that course, or are we going to retrench somehow?
And this conclave will be the largest in the history of the church, and the majority of the cardinals are novices or novices who have never been a part of this process.
New this morning, future of the Gary Farm development in Ellendale. Tonight, the town council is expected to discuss a master plan on these houses. Plans for the development were first submitted to Delaware officials 3 years ago, calling for 227 new homes and 264 affordable housing units on the northwest side of town. Tonight's meeting is at 7 at the Ellendale Fire Hall.
Happening today, a heavily debated proposed development in the Milton area is set to go in front of the Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission. We are talking about Cool Spring Crossing. The project includes over 1,200 single-family lots at the intersection of Route 9 and Cool Spring Road. Development is something we have been covering for quite some time now, and if approved, that project would be one of the largest developments in Sussex County. Today's public hearing takes place at noon.
Developing news, a homeless village called Terros that was placed at the old Troop 7 lot in Lewis. It's where the salt barn is now. And Mike Agnew, who is the organizer behind Terros, says under Governor Matt Meyer's administration, he's now required to have a conditional land use permit, something he says he didn't need under the Carney administration. Today, the Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing for Terros.
And happening now, a new bill being considered in the Delaware General Assembly seeks to help those facing homelessness. According to the General Assembly, the state does not have adequate shelters or housing services for the amount of people who need help. House Bill 113 encourages communities to provide emergency shelter for those people. Another part of that bill would be ensure unhoused people get the same legal protection as everyone else. Sussex County Representative Claire Schneider Hall is a co-sponsor.
Today, big changes coming for travelers across the country as real ID compliant forms of identification are now needed at airports. According to the Department of Homeland Security, starting today, certain standard driver's licenses and other ID cards no longer meet federal standards for people seeking to fly within the United States and for access to some federal facilities. A real ID is a security-enhanced state-issued driver's license, learner's permit, or non-driver identification card that is offered by all 50 states.
If you do show up with a non-compliant state-issued ID, you will be okay. It just may take some additional time for screening, so we do urge folks to plan accordingly and leave a little extra time when traveling to the airport.
And according to Stahl, real ID compliance, it's a law that passed 20 years ago focusing on identity and document integrity. It does not apply to minors.
Rehoboth Beach police were called multiple times this past week after large crowds of young adults were reportedly causing trouble. CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken shows us how police say one of those scenes involved violence, and now the city is considering implementing a curfew.
The beach. It's a place you go to relax. But in Rehoboth, that's been hard to do after a string of recent reported ruckuses caused by young people. Littering, loud music, parking violations, smoking violations, and even fighting. That's according to the Rehoboth Beach Police.
I don't like to see it. I'm at an age that I don't want to be a part of it or be around it.
I don't like seeing that. I have a family, I have a daughter.
Locals Jim Henson and Xavier Serrano agree on that, but now the city is debating an emergency curfew. Henson is all for it.
Protecting the elderly, because there's a lot of elderly people in Rehoboth. Mostly older people, and I don't think why should they have to worry about trouble.
But Serrano thinks that's too much and says he would rather see security or police on the beach.
I would want people to have the freedom to come to the beach and be here however long they want.
For now, a curfew is just a conversation. No decisions have been made yet, but whether your time on this beach will be limited in the future, only time will tell.
For CoastTV News, I'm Emma Aiken.
And with all this in mind, with summer soon approaching, that means the return of Rehoboth Beach's seasonal officer program. According to the Rehoboth Beach Police Department, there will be 16 seasonal officers on patrol this season. Officers officially start the weekend of May 16th and will patrol through Labor Day. After that, some seasonal officers may continue working through the Sea Witch Festival.
Happening today, Maryland Lieutenant Governor and the Maryland Department of State Police will honor those in the department who have lost their lives in the line of duty at the annual Fallen Heroes ceremony. The surviving members of 43 fallen state troopers will attend this event to honor their loved ones, and that ceremony begins at 11 a.m. at the Fallen Heroes Memorial.
Happening tonight, we should learn about the upgrades planned for the War Memorial in Ellendale. According to town officials, the memorial is set to undergo a multi-phase renovation and feature a more prominent and reflective space for the community. Town council is scheduled to discuss the project status at Wednesday's 7 p.m. meeting. Also at that meeting, an update on the Reed Property Solar Farm. Got a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Camden surrenders to concerns. We'll tell you why the town is backing out of an agreement with the federal government.
Also, Canes and OT. A disappointing start to the second round of the NHL playoffs for the Capitals. The blunt assessment from head coach Spencer Carberry.
We salute Millie Powers. Millie Powers proudly served in the Army Nurse Corps from January 1943 to July 1946, providing critical care to wounded soldiers during World War II. Her service took her across multiple countries, where her compassion and skill helped countless heroes in their time of need. Millie is a true inspiration and a shining example of courage, dedication, and selfless service. We honor her as both a healer and a hero.
Spicer Brothers and CoastTV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a CoastTV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
5:42 on this somewhat cloudy Wednesday morning. Title Health Cam in Salisbury. You have darker skies. Could see a sprinkle this morning. Right now, 50 degrees there. We're in the low to mid 50s for the most part, even 60 right now in Ocean City. We have some clouds out there, and it's possible we could see a sprinkle. We're seeing a few showers across Chesapeake Bay, and those could be sliding in through the morning hours. Don't think you'll need their rain gear. Otherwise, with high pressure, we're looking at a good-looking day. Here's the bus stop forecast for the kiddos. Could see a stray shower out the door. At the bus stop, not a big deal, 55, and then heading home, dry and mild and 74. Call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone, another way to get your forecast. Sponsored by Brockstead Mandalis Federico.
Thank you, Bob. Ocean View is inviting locals outside for a fun event benefiting a good cause. The police department says proceeds from a field day will go to support Special Olympics Delaware. The event includes an inflatable obstacle course, a dunk tank, games, face painting, and more. And the cash-only event takes place May 31st at 11 a.m. at Lord Baltimore Elementary School.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good morning, sports fans. The Stephen Decatur Seahawks look to go back-to-back, and the Queen Anne's County Lions look to take down the Kings of the South. It's the Bayside Championship in baseball, and DSN's Luke Milai and Brian Dyke have more at Arthur Purdue Stadium.
Hello and welcome inside the press box here at Purdue Stadium alongside Brian Dyke. Luke Milai with you all, where it was the home of the Bayside Championship game in baseball. And for the second consecutive year, the Stephen Decatur Seahawks have pulled it out. They knock off Queen Anne's County 8-3. This is one of the biggest plays of the early part of the game, the second runner thrown out at the plate.
Yeah, fantastic job by the Seahawks, flashing the fundamentals, getting themselves out of the jam.
And then Travis Such, maybe the longest swing we saw, the RBI triple to straightaway center field. This made it a one-run game.
Just jumped all over a hanging curveball, took it deep, and as you can see, the slide into third base there and the exuberance, the Lions were back in the game at that point.
And then the Lions were one strike away from getting to the 6th. Instead, Decatur goes on a massive 2-out rally. First, the RBI single from the number 9 hitter Colton Zender, and he was followed up by Brandon Nadeau again with a big hit. And Nate Berzonski would put the final touches on this one, roping an RBI single right back through the middle, and that would be more than enough for Stephen Decatur as the Seahawks go on to win it 8-3 behind that late 2-out rally to put this one out of reach.
That'll for sports. Have a great day, everybody.
And coming up tonight on DSN at 7, Indian River hosts Delmar in boys lacrosse. Then it's the final score at 10:30. On the DSN Plus app, you get that boys lacrosse game along with these exclusives. 3:45, we've got Delaware Military Academy girls lacrosse. They take on Dover at 4:15. High school soccer when Delmarva Christians hosts Odessa Charter. 5:30, Indian River is at Cesar Rodney in girls lacrosse. And then at 7, Aquaquinnipiac takes on Cesar Rodney in boys lacrosse. Second round NHL playoffs, game 1, and this one hurt for the Capitals. In overtime, Jacob Slavin from way downtown beats Logan Thompson. That's the game winner for the Hurricanes. No offense for the Caps. They were outshot 33-14 in this one.
From breakout to getting through the neutral zone to forecheck to wall play, it wasn't good, and that's the bottom line. Our entire game was not good, and we'll like I said, we'll regroup and we'll get ready for game 2.
Caps fans hope so. Game 2 back in the district tomorrow night.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
We're seeing mostly cloudy skies right now on the Dry Attack Cam in Ocean City. 60 degrees. Can't rule out a sprinkle, light shower this morning. Otherwise dry today and Thursday. Rain is likely Friday, but then improving weather for the weekend. Your forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 5:49, and we are taking a live look outside at Salisbury on this cooler morning. Bob, driving in this morning, much better conditions than yesterday morning. As we can see, the sky, it's pretty clear outside. That sun is coming up, looking for another pleasant day.
We are looking for a pleasant day, Elisa, and it is cool out the door this morning, so you definitely need that lighter jacket with temperatures into the 50s. Could see a stray shower this morning, otherwise a pleasant Wednesday on the way. And the same for Thursday as well, mid to upper 70s, 60s, and some low 70s at the beaches. And then Friday looks like our rainy day with showers, and it will be cooler, but then I think improving conditions for the weekend. Right now, 56 Bethany Beach, 57 in Rehoboth, 60 in Lewis with 50s inland. In fact, 50 in Salisbury and Willards, 56 in Georgetown, right now 55 in Redden. As we're looking at calm winds for the most part, but the tendency is out of the northwest behind a cold front. We have clouds moving through. It looks a little threatening in places, but nothing in the way of rain right now. But we are seeing a few showers over Chesapeake Bay. We've seen some showers across New Jersey as well, just very, very light. So we could see a stray shower or sprinkle this morning. Otherwise, we'll have higher pressure building in today and tomorrow with a mix of sun and clouds. Then back to the west, we're watching some wet weather back towards the Gulf Coast and also back across the Central Plains as well. And eventually we will see some of that moisture heading our way in the form of rain on Friday. But until then, we're dry. Here's Futurecast at 6 a.m. with temperatures in the 50s, some clouds. Once again, cannot rule out a sprinkle. Then more in the way of sunshine going through the morning hours, and by noon, we're into the mid-70s inland with 60s and some low 70s at the coast. By 3 p.m. around 77 in Millsboro and Seaford, 75 in Salisbury, a mix of sun and clouds, but only about 63 in Fenwick Island, but 70 in Rehoboth, so a little cooler from Dewey Beach down to Fenwick Island. Otherwise, this evening, inland areas into the 70s. And then for this evening, I think we're looking at partly cloudy skies. Could be mostly cloudy at times overnight with temperatures into the 50s and 60s. By morning, tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., mid to upper 50s 70s inland spots with close to 60 at the beaches. And then tomorrow is much like today, a mix of sun and clouds, maybe a tad warmer with 70s and low 80s and maybe a stray sprinkle as we go into the afternoon. Then we're clear, I think, tomorrow evening, and then increasing clouds through tomorrow night. As we're tracking that next system heading in, that will bring some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder as we go into your Friday. That rain could be steady to maybe heavy at times, but then it looks like by Friday evening we start to see that system clearing out, and now it looks like the system is moving out quicker. So I think Saturday is dry, maybe a few clouds, but I think we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds. And for Mom on Mother's Day, I think it's also dry. Could see some morning clouds, otherwise some sunshine. So if you're headed out to brunch with Mom, I think we're looking good on Sunday. Models differing on rainfall amounts. This particular one is a little heavier with about a ½ inch to about an inch, over an inch in some places. I've seen other models with about a ¼ inch of rain. So about a ¼ inch to about an inch of rain possible with this system. Here's your Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Upper 70s today and tomorrow, staying dry. Then we have the rain on Friday, 69. Right now the weekend looking good. Partly cloudy, 72 Saturday, Mother's Day 76, and then mid-70s into early next week with maybe another rain chance by Tuesday.
Bob, in Kent County, Delaware, Camden has dropped an agreement to help federal authorities with immigration enforcement because of pushback they were getting. It was a week ago the town signed a deal with ICE, allowing police officers to help with immigration enforcement. The agreement was never publicly announced, and it only came to light during a recent council meeting. Some members and advocacy groups expressed frustration and saying the public should have been informed. Less than 24 hours after the backlash, the town officially withdrew from the agreement.
Until last week, Delaware was one of 4 states that had neither an active 287G agreement nor had, publicly and legally, legislatively banned entering into 287G agreements.
Camden Mayor Larry Doherty reportedly says he's in full support of the agreement. He says the town signed the agreement to simply, quote, obey the law.
And the time is now 5:53, so we're going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
And today's coastal pet of the day watches our newscast every morning. Hopefully watching right now. Good morning. That is Maya, everybody. Maya's family says she is very happy and spoiled, loves snuggling with her mom and tuning into Coast TV every morning and night. She was submitted to us by Diana in Millsboro.
And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
Yep, that QR code, top center, scan that, get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
The time is now 5:56, and we're going to take another look at your forecast.
Yeah, Bob, we're looking forward to another sunny day today.
I think so. Today and tomorrow are looking pretty good, guys. And we're looking at 50s this morning. Could see a stray shower. Don't need the rain gear. Otherwise, we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds today. Inland areas, mid-70s. I think a little cooler by about 5 to 8 degrees at the beaches. Here's your Paul Davis 10-day forecast. Pretty much a carbon copy tomorrow. Mix of sun and clouds, 78. Friday's a wet day with showers, 69 degrees. But then I think that system's clearing out for the weekend. Partly cloudy Saturday, 72. Mother's Day looking good with mid-70s. We keep it in the mid-70s on Monday. Then it looks like another rain chance Tuesday and Wednesday. 76 Tuesday, up to 80 Wednesday, and then even warmer after that by the end of next week. Lower 80s and partly cloudy skies.
Thank you, Bob. Coming up in our next hour, new homes, same concerns as we expect to learn more about the growth happening in Sussex County. That and more when Coast TV News Today continues.
Now on Coast TV News.